And just like that, y'all, it is 72 hours. Another 72-hour fast that's in the books. In fact, 72, no, not 72. Wow. 54 hours. Man, I'm so excited to get into tomorrow. But 54 hours and 2 minutes to be exact. But another 72-hour series, right? So we've been at this now for a little over 54 hours and just excited to be here hanging out with you. Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. We are creating, y'all, the life we've always wanted. And in this year, that's right. You know how we do it. New year, new you. I'm talking to adults with type 2 diabetes. How do we put your diabetes in remission? How do we reverse your diabetes and get you off of some of that medication? Glad that you are here. And if you're joining me, wherever you're joining me from, Facebook or TikTok or Twitter or LinkedIn, whatever platform you're on, or even Instagram. I see some folks out there, someone out there on Instagram. Hey man, thank you for joining me. One of my main men out there. Thank you for hanging out. And then here I see Jennifer. What's up, Jennifer? Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Let me go ahead and pop that up. She says, howdy. And howdy to you, Jennifer. Thanks for stopping through. Y'all, I'm in another 72-hour fast, and you know how we do it. I've got my meters. I've got my reports that we're going to take a look at here in just a minute. So I've got my meters over here that we're going to look at. I've got my Dexcom and my Libre. I think, yeah, my Libre is right behind that one. So we're going to take a look at those. But first, we're going to talk about what is going on with me. You know how we do it. We give you a check-in in terms of how we're feeling physically, mentally, emotionally, and so on and so forth. If you are out there, if you've been fasting, go ahead and drop that in the chat because I'd love to know where you are. As we are working to put our diabetes in remission, there are so many tools that we're using, tools that will allow us to get to our destination. We've learned about a lot of them, and one of the main ones that we've been using is this idea of fasting. Fasting is an amazing process where we allow the body time to digest, time to use up some of those carbohydrates that we're putting in, particularly carbohydrates that are stored in the liver, right? So after about 24 hours, our body switches. Actually, let me back up. Not even 24 hours. Probably by 18 hours or so, we get past that digestion, that initial digestion. The body is now using ketones or using up the carbohydrates, using up the glycogen, and then it switches over to burning fat and to start using ketones. It's kind of like that hybrid car, right? That car that uses gas and then can switch over to use battery, the electric power from the battery. That's what the body does. And the amazing process is that when it is now switching from burning sugar, burning carbohydrates to burning ketones, that's where we get that weight loss that we talk about. As we're talking about patients who are diabetics, adults with diabetes, remember, it's not just those people that get the benefit. Because remember the side effects, y'all. Notice what I said, the side effects, not even the main goal. The side effects are those things that we've been talking about: losing weight, improving non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, improving polycystic ovarian syndrome, dropping the blood pressure, improving your cholesterol, all of those ancillary side benefits, all of those side effects of getting our blood sugars down and getting our life in a healthy space. And so we've been using fasting. So how am I feeling physically? You know, I did a very good job this week of getting into fasting. So I've talked about the different phases of fasting in terms of the hours, but there are different groups of things that we want to do as we are moving through fasting. The first phase, main thing that we got to do is get ready, get prepared. That is getting good rest the night before we start fasting, making sure that we have a good meal, right? That it's a balanced meal, that we're not skimping on anything. We want to make sure that we're not scheduling any stressful events during the fasting period, and making sure that we are remaining well hydrated. Okay, those are the initial things. And then during the fast, several things that we've talked about, go back and look at those shows, making sure that you're hydrated, making sure that you are looking at electrolytes and so forth. And then, of course, breaking the fast, just as important as it is to start the fast well, go through the fast, and then, of course, we don't want to undo the things that we did while we were fasting, right? So once again. So physically, I'm doing well. I'm feeling fine. I'm not lightheaded. I'm not dizzy. I'm not feeling weak. I did have, and you guys saw in a couple of shows that I had over the course of this week, I've been struggling with some allergies. And so last night, I took some Benadryl. I took some Zyrtec. And I came home and I was knocked out. Okay. And so I think part of some of the grogginess I was feeling was from taking the Benadryl. So, but otherwise feeling very good. Mentally, I'm feeling clear. As you know, the brain likes ketones. So when we switch to this alternate source, when we're not using all of that sugar, all of the glycogen, the brain is actually pretty happy. And so we get this clarity that a lot of people talk about when they start fasting. As we get past those first 12-ish, 12 to 18 hours, when you're thinking about food, then the mind becomes clear, because we're not having to go and find food, and those hunger pangs starting to resolve and starting to subside, right? And so we get a clarity that sometimes we don't get, or I should say sometimes, we don't get otherwise. And then, of course, emotionally, this week has been pretty good. Not a lot of stressful events happening. We had our meetup, right? Our community meetup tonight, our second one. And that was great. I had a good time talking there. And so I was excited about that. And so got into that feeling very energized, came out of it feeling energized, and actually had to run to the hospital to see a patient that's in there who came in, a newly diagnosed diabetic, believe it or not, who was in DKA. So we went, took care of that patient, spent some time writing our note, and then now coming back. And it's a little later than normal, but that's because I was coming back from the hospital. But emotionally, I'm feeling excited about being in this space. Okay? All right. So Jennifer said, shoot, I missed it. Yeah, Jennifer, that was tonight. We got another one coming up next month, so make sure you pay attention to for when that one is showing up. Okay? All right. So that's how I'm feeling physically, emotionally, mentally, and emotionally. Let's hop over and let's take a look at what my monitors are showing. And the one that you'll see on the screen right now, that is my Libre, and my Libre says that my blood sugar is 63, and my Dexcom says it's 71. Now, one of the questions that often I get asked is, wait a minute, Dr. Woode, if you have not eaten for now 2 days, right? So 2 days, a little over 2 days, for 48 hours was at 6 o'clock this evening, and now I'm 6 hours later, so 54 hours. Why are you not feeling tired? Why are you not feeling the drop in the blood sugar? Number one, I'm not feeling that because my body has switched over to using ketones. Remember that. So as we're using ketones, the body has an ample source of energy. A lot of times when we are not in the ketosis phase of fasting, the body is still relying on sugar, still relying on carbohydrates. So as the sugar levels drop, we begin to feel that as lightheadedness, weakness, tiredness. The other thing is, if you are on medication, if you're on any medication that's causing the blood sugar to drop, you're going to feel that more acutely because the medication doesn't know that your blood sugar is going down. It just continues to do its job. So that's one of the reasons that we say that as we're fasting, we want to be able to adjust the medications that we're using so that it doesn't continue to drive those blood sugars down. Okay? All right. So let's hop over and let's take a look at my monitors. And so, I have my continuous glucose monitor, which you see on the screen. And then I'm going to go ahead and check with these other two where I do a finger stick to actually check them. So I've got a contour meter, And then I've got a keto mojo meter. And as you know, the keto mojo checks both ketones and it also checks blood sugar. So let's get a strip out. And we're going to take a look at what my blood sugars are on the contour. We're going to get a strip into the keto mojo. Boom, boom, boom. Get those two there. Get them lined up. And then here's my lancet so that we can get a good stick and get a good drop of blood. Don't know. Okay, yeah, I didn't think I got a good drop, but there it is. So let's go ahead and get this on this strip. Get another drop, and come on. I'm going to need 3 drops because I also need one for the ketones. Okay, so right now my keto mojo says that my blood sugar is 67. Let's see what the contour says it is. It's 65, so pretty close to each other, right? And that's actually in keeping with what my Libre says. So let's go ahead and get our test strip in for the ketone. And I'm going to get this one started, but you know, as I do, I always tease you guys, because I'm not going to show you what it's showing. I'm going to have you guess. What do you think it's going to be? What do you think my ketones are going to be? Because now I have been fasting for over 54 hours. 54 hours. All right. So tell me what you think it's going to be. As we do that, I do want to talk a little bit about our HEAT model. Right? Remember HEAT, H-E-A-T. That is habits, emotions, access, and taste. Those are the things that can help. Well, not help, but these are the things that can derail us during a fasting, derail us during a diet, derail us during times when we're trying to make healthy choices, right? So habits, we do things, we eat simply because it's that time. It's that time of day. It's noon. Everybody else is eating. It's that time of the evening. We're sitting down watching TV. We're watching a movie, so we feel we have to eat popcorn. We go to a ball game, right? And everybody around us is eating, so we're going to eat. We're going to get a hot dog, right? Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those, but a lot of times we don't eat because we're hungry. We eat simply because of habit. We've gotten into the habit of doing that. We get together with some friends. We're playing cards. We're bowling. We are just hanging out. And what do? We eat simply because of habit. We also eat because of emotions. Those emotions will drive us. You know, if you heard the thing, don't be too hungry, too angry, too lonely, too tired. Yeah, not just those emotions, but also people, when they're happy, they eat. When they're sad, when they're depressed, when they're bored. All of those emotions come into play as we're talking about once again, triggers. These are things that push us in the direction of eating. And then access. Sometimes we eat just because it's there. We walk by the kitchen, we walk by the pantry, we walk by somebody's desk at work, and they have that candy tray with the candy in it or whatever it's in it, and we simply grab one or some because it's there. Not because we're hungry, not even because our brain told us that you have a craving. It's just that we saw it and we got it. This is why advertising is so amazing, right? I've told you the story. We were in Biloxi, right? We were in Biloxi, Mississippi, coming back from a conference, an obesity conference, because my wife is an obesity physician. And we've left this conference, and we're driving across the bridge, right, from Mississippi into Alabama. And as we're going across the bridge, there's this huge billboard on the side advertising what? Fast food, right? A hamburger and fries with the shake up there. And I said, yeah, let's go there. I was not hungry, y'all, but I just saw it and I said I wanted it. Okay? So we eat not because of hunger, but we eat because of habits. We eat because of emotions. We eat because of access, and we eat because of taste. That bliss point that those manufacturers build into the food. Remember, they don't build the food so that it's nutritious necessarily, but so that when you eat it, you say, I can't just have one. I got to have some more of this stuff, right? The perfect combination of sugar, perfect combination of fat, perfect combination of salt. And when we eat that, that is so, so good. We eat also because the taste reminds us of a different time, a different space, a different environment, a different situation that we were in. My dad, right, used to pick me up, and I couldn't, from school sometimes. And I used to hang out with him, and we used to go and we used to get hot dog. We used to get some pizza. And I remember that time. And so now pizza and hot dog, that's my favorite stuff. Not because I'm hungry, but when I eat, it reminds me of the connection that I had with him. Okay? Yeah. So we eat because of habits, emotions, access, and taste. That's the heat model of, these are the triggers. Now we can apply the heat model to lots of different things, but here in this space, we're applying it to food. And that is something that right here, this is unique right here to Dwain Woode, MD, something that we came up with. And it is a great way to think about those things that will drive us to eat. All right. So what do you think our glucose, our ketones are going to be? So let me pop over and pull up my Keto Mojo meter, and I'll have to turn this back on and see if we can get those ketones to pop up. Let's do it this way, so everybody can actually see that. And let's go ahead and get that to sync. All right, we should see that coming up. Oh, well, it got turned off. Let's turn it back on. So it should start pulling that data right across. Here we go. Yep, there we are. All right, and so there it is. So my blood sugar was 67, and the ketones are 2.3. Talking about ketones, right? So ketones that are less than 0.5 are considered normal. 0.5 to about 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and above that is considered therapeutic ketosis. And if we look at my graph, you'll see there to the far left, the turquoise line those are ketones, and then the tan line, that's the blood sugar. So as the blood sugars rise, the ketones fall, because the blood sugars rising requires my body to produce insulin, and ketones cannot exist in the presence of insulin for long. But as I started fasting and the blood sugars are going down, the tan line is getting lower and lower, you see that the ketones start to go up, and they cross there. And now at the end, you'll see that that's where my ketones are, the ones that we just saw, 2.3 with glucose of 67. So I love seeing that, because that means that my body has switched from burning glucose to now burning fat, y'all. Right? This stuff right here. Yeah, man. Some of that's going away right now as we're speaking, because the body is in the process of burning that up and using ketones in its place, right? So if I look back, so here when I first started fasting, and when I first started fasting, my ketones, those were 0.1, and let me do it this way actually. Okay, so let's back up. So ketones, right there you go. So right down at the bottom, you'll see those ketones. So glucose was 91, ketones were 0.5. That's when I first started fasting. Or actually, that was about 6 hours into fasting. Let's see, what time was that? 6 p.m. No, I had just started, because I started at 6 p.m. And then that was on the 16th. And 6 p.m. the next day, so 24 hours later, my glucose was 75 and my ketones were 0.6. So I've switched over from burning carbs to burning ketones. And then as we got into yesterday, because I did the show last night, if you remember, right around 12 a.m., and my ketones were 0.5, glucose was 73, and now my blood sugar is 67 with ketones of 2.3. So I love when I see those ketones, because that means that I've changed over. My body has switched from burning carbohydrates to now burning fat. And I'm excited because as the fat goes away, as the ketones are going, right, my weight's going down, y'all, right? My blood sugars are doing well, which is a great place for us to switch over here and talk a little bit about what's been going on with my monitors. So let's grab this one. And so you'll see there that my average blood sugar is 108 over the last 2 weeks. In fact, let's see if I can, how do I, well, I was going to try to change it on the fly, but I think I can't do that right now. So that you can see what my blood sugar has been. Yeah, I can change it right here. Here we go. So let's do 90 days. Yeah, let's see. It's going to take a minute to. Okay, so over the last 90 days, the last 3 months, my average blood sugar is 114. Yeah, right? So 114. And I'm in target 96% of the time with an estimated glucose management indicator, or an estimated A1C that's going to be 6.0. And I told you last Friday I saw my physician and my A1C was a 6.1, right? So pretty close to what this monitor is saying that my blood sugar should be. And if I scroll down and look at my daily graphs, have that pull up there in just a minute. So this is going to give us, let's see, where were we? So I started fasting on Tuesday. So Tuesday, right at 6 o'clock, my blood sugar was 105. 24 hours later, blood sugar is 84. And then today, 24 hours later, blood sugar of 77. Right? And in fact, as we come into the rest of the evening, we'll see that it's starting to drop down into the 60s. And I would expect tomorrow, when we look at this again, that my blood sugars at that point would be in the 60s, kind of hovering in that area. And that's how we do it, y'all. Right? So amazing, amazing process, this fasting. And as you recall, let's see if I can pull that up. Not that one. I thought I had that queued up here, but I don't. But if you recall, yesterday we talked about the phases of fasting, right? The different timelines. So the post-absorptive period, which is, body's eating, we've eaten, we've stopped eating now, and the body's absorbing, it's digesting. And then 24 hours when we are burning ketones, and 24 to 36 hours where we're ramping up those ketones. We're starting to get into autophagy. 48 hours, we're full into autophagy. And then 72 hours where we start now to begin to see this boost in our immune system, right? So amazing process that goes on as we are moving through the different phases of fasting. I talked to somebody today in the office, and I was telling them, well, let me back up. And if you're out there and this is you, your blood sugars are high and you're on a bunch of insulin, and the insulin level keeps going up and up and up and up and up, and the blood sugars do not seem to be controlled. Right? I want you to listen to me. And I want you to think about this as you're talking to your physician. I said to this person, this was on Saturday, I believe. And I said, hey, do you want to by Tuesday, so Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, so 3 days. Do you want your blood sugar to be down in the 100s by Tuesday, to the point where you don't have to take any medication? And they said, yes, let's do it. They said, I can do that. And I said, fast. Because if I fast for the next 3 days, y'all, right, and you saw it here, right? So we started out with blood sugars of 100. We dropped down into 80s. We dropped down into the 70s. Tomorrow we're going to be in the 60s all day. So if you want to be off of medication, and you remember I did a show, I think it was our second show for the year, can fasting decrease our blood sugar quickly? And the answer is yes. Now, I don't say this for you to go home right now and just stop your medication and start fasting. You got to do it under supervision. But is it possible? Yes, it is possible. And you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to change You don't have to go buy any special foods. You don't have to go buy any medication. In fact, this is going to save you money because we're getting ready to get rid of this medication. That's right. 3 days. And some of you right now are out there and you are in situations where you're having lots of complications from your diabetes, from the high blood sugars. So your intermittent fasting, while it's good, and I promote intermittent fasting, I love it. I teach it to my patients. I love when they do it. While intermittent fasting is good, and intermittent fasting gets you heading in the right direction, some of the things that you need to reverse cannot be done without doing extended fasts. Yep. Okay? All right. Well, y'all, I'm excited to have been with you. Let's hop over and let's talk about the platform. Remember, our platform, the Triple E Formula for Success. We educate, we empower, we encourage. Educate, empower, and encourage. Remember the things that will push you in the direction of breaking a fast, of interrupting a meal, interrupting a diet, of eating the things that you said that you weren't going to eat, right? Our habits, emotions, access, and taste. And then our call to action. Y'all, come on, join us with the challenges. Each month we have a challenge. The challenge for this month is to create a meal that is full of whole foods, no processed foods, does not have any added sugar, has some starchy and non-starchy vegetables in there, that has healthy fat and lean protein, that is tasty, y'all, that tastes good, and that has the appropriate portion size. That's our challenge for this month. If you've not done so yet, go ahead and take a picture of it, do a video, send it in to us, info@Dwain Woode MD, info@Dwain Woode MD, and we'd love to share it with the rest of our community so they can see the things that you're doing, right? So join the challenges. If you're catching us and you're halfway through the year, even if it's December of this year and you are just now finding this, don't think that you have lost or that you are way behind or that you can't still do this. Start where you are. Start where you are. Our very first show was to say, hey, what are we going to do? How do we discover our why? What is our why? What are the things that drive us? What are the reasons that we want to be healthy? Okay, that was our very first show. And then we moved through each of the different phases. We taught the HEAT model, and you were supposed to figure out which of those things are driving you. And I'll tell you right now, it's not one for me. It's the emotions, the access, and the taste. And in that order, emotions, access, and those are the things that drive me to eat when I'm not hungry. Okay? So join the challenges. Pick up the challenges and do them. Number 2, join the community. Let us know you're here, right? Share your story. When we see you being successful, we say, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. And when we hear your challenges, when we hear those places where you are having some bumps, then we think we're not by ourselves. So our community is as strong as you help to make it. And then invite somebody to the show. Invite somebody to go on this journey with us. This is an entire year series, New Year, New You. Every show that we do is going to be geared towards reversing diabetes, improving blood sugars, getting you off medication, and putting our diabetes in remission. Right? All right. So, man, y'all, it's 54 hours in and counting. So I'm excited to get to 72 hours coming up tomorrow. We'll be back to share with you where we are, how things are going. We'll look at our numbers again and talk about where you are, right? So drop us a line. If you see us out there in the social media platform, let us know how you're doing. Say hello. Keep an ear out for our shows. Get over to our website and see the things that are there. As always, this is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, and go to the next level. And then this year, y'all, new year, new you. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow at our check-in, and then on Monday at our show at 7 p.m. Central. Bye-bye.